Alô, galera da Campus Party. É muito bom estar retornando aqui com vocês. Agora a gente vai ter uma atração internacional e fico muito feliz. Me chamo Linconl Rocha, trabalho na rede Célia, feliz aqui do Grupo Transire, fazer parte disso tudo, desse movimento, desse grande momento, né, da tecnologia. Estamos aqui na Digital Edition e hoje a gente vai conhecer um pouquinho do futuro do varejo. A gente vai entender, vai conhecer uma empresa maravilhosa e uma pessoa maravilhosa. E eu vou chamar aqui para que escute essa apresentação, né, a facilitadora e a nossa diretora de negócios internacionais e parcerias estratégicas, Valeria Carrete.
Olá, pessoal, boa noite. Super contente de ter esse convidado maravilhoso que nós temos, que vai enriquecer a gente com informações maravilhosas, Lincoln.
Legal, eu tenho certeza disso. E agora vamos chamar o Juan Sotelo, nosso convidado, o Juan.
Oi.
Oi.
Hello from Los Angeles.
Hello.
Good to hear you, man. Let me introduce you. After that, Valeria will talk with you, ok?
Uhum.
Pessoal, o Juan, formado na UCLA, né, em política, é um cara que vocês vão entender. É impossível compreender essa pessoa por completo, porque ele faz tudo bem. Ele é um grande administrador, executivo. Ele começou sua carreira sendo cientista político, deu aulas de álgebra, foi atleta na faculdade. Ele começou um negócio, ele fundou uma produtora de filmes chamada Antique Films. Ele escreveu e produziu mais de 20 filmes. Em 2013, ele se juntou ao grupo da Payscout, um time também de fintequeiros, de startupeiros, e eles queriam resolver o problema do e-commerce, e resolveram. Hoje eles se tornaram uma das maiores empresas, uma empresa listada nas 500 mais da Forbes, e eles se tornaram aí referência de inovação. A Payscout se tornou referência de inovação para o mundo de pagamentos, e recentemente eles, inquietos, quiseram resolver outro problema. Eles fizeram um filme, fizeram um curta-metragem e, através desse curta-metragem, eles fizeram um curta-metragem em visão realidade virtual e realizaram compras, fizeram tecnologia para que você pudesse experimentar consumo dentro de um filme de realidade virtual. E aí eles perceberam que estavam criando uma nova modalidade de e-commerce, né? Tivemos o internet, o e-commerce, tivemos o mobile commerce, né? Hoje a gente está aí, todo mundo experimentando o consumo via mobile, cada vez mais relevante. Digo que hoje ele é mais relevante do que o próprio web. E agora eles estão trazendo aí a novidade, eles estão trazendo para a realidade você poder experimentar produtos usando a realidade virtual. E essa nova metodologia, esse novo processo, essa inovação, essa tecnologia tem encantado e encantou a Valéria, encantou a mim, encantou o Grupo Transire, e eu tenho certeza que vai encantar você que está em casa. Peço aí que façam as perguntas, podem entrar em contato também comigo através do Inovacal, inovação@redcel.com.br, ou entre em contato também aqui no site da CyberDyme. A CyberDyme foi fundada pelo Juan Sotelo, e eu quero que ele conte aqui, junto com a Valéria, o que ele fez. Então, obrigado aí, Juan. Thank you, my friend. Enjoy us, and talk to the Brazilian people. Please tell for everybody your history. Thank you.
Yeah, Juan, Lincoln has just shared with the audience all your experience and competency. You are such a different character. You have a multitude of competencies that are unusual in the same person, right? Because you love mathematics, you politics, and then you are filmmaker, and then you are, let's say, retailer, technology, all in one, packing just one body in one box, right? So he was sharing your history, your competency. So if you want to join anything else about you and about CyberDyme, he briefly went through all the main points, right? And then you go ahead to your presentation, and we are going to talk back after you finish, right?
Yes, no problem. Lincoln, it sounded wonderful. I understood a little bit of that. So I appreciate the intro. Excited to be here. Excited to be to present to students. As you had mentioned, I'm a former teacher. When I graduated UCLA, high school, junior high, and it's a passion for me. And I really want to come away with the theme, be smart, be good, be creative, right? And those three elements of your journey along your career are going to serve you well. And I'll talk a little bit more detail about that. And the one that is often missed is be creative. We often subdue that, especially as we get older. And that should be the exact opposite of what you should be focused on, because that brings tremendous value and pleasure and joy in what you do. So be smart, be good, be creative. Let's talk about VR commerce and what I think is going to reshape how we shop, view, pay for experiences in the world. So I could share a presentation and go right into it if that suits. Here we go. Let me get in presentation mode so I don't bore anybody. So here it is. CyberDyme. I'm president and co-founder, as mentioned before. If you hear PayScout and CyberDyme interchangeably, it's because CyberDyme spun out of PayScout. We took everything that we did in virtual reality commerce in that department and created a new company. And that's partly because of what you see here. Here's a great tweet from Visa. They're one of our strategic partners. And it was me giving a personal demo of the future of shopping. And we call it VR shopping. And it's the first time that Al Kelly, the CEO, had visited a Visa booth. So there was a lot of buzz. This was at National Retail Federation. And from there, just a couple of years ago, the relationship has blossomed. So if you want to learn more, or the website, you can follow us on Instagram. And at the end, I'll tell you how I can help further. So a little bit about me, we talked about in visuals. Be smart. I'm always learning. It's within our culture to do so at PayScout and now at CyberDyme. You see here in the upper left-hand picture, I'm in the booth with Visa. We're showcasing a VR donation application where somebody can experience the immersive element of a US Olympic hopeful in their journey of grit and perseverance, and at the end make a donation while immersed in VR. And I want to believe that part of that was my upbringing and the always learning attitude and trying to attempt to be smart. I'm not there yet. I hire people that are smarter than me, and that's an easy task. The middle picture is me at Multiplying Good, the nonprofit that we support. We have a fundamental belief that every individual has a social responsibility to make the world a better place. And this is me giving back. And that's what I would like you to embrace as a community. Give back, be good, and be creative. Here are some of the films. I'm a partner at Filmantics. It started as a hobby, continued. Here's a little anecdote about why be creative. One of the top analysts in the world had looked at my LinkedIn profile, and they saw that I was involved in payments and also involved in filmmaking. They said, you should take off the filmmaking. It doesn't make sense. It's a distraction. 6 months later, that same analyst came back and said, it is wonderful how you blended the content creation of 360 videos and film and payments. We want to learn more. We think this is the new paradigm shift. So just an anecdote that the creative element can be blended with what you're doing day to day, and the good element makes the world a better place. So what is virtual reality? Let me start. I'm not sure how much of you know, just a simple definition. It's a simulated or 360-degree live. You shoot a live but action type of film, but with 4 different cameras at a minimum, and you get this sphere effect. And it's an immersive experience. So you're gonna wear a headset. Here's a basic headset, a cardboard box that you can use on Google for $5, or you can go to Oculus Go and Oculus Quest, which gives you a better experience and less nausea. What is CyberDyme building? VR commerce. So we're building a VR shopping module with integrations, customer integrations that enable you as consumers and everyone around the world to experience, shop, and make a secure and frictionless payment. This is key, secure and frictionless payment for physical goods while immersed in virtual reality. The problem that we saw was that while people were experiencing virtual reality, they were connecting empathetically with the message, with the brand story. There was no place for commerce to execute within a call to action. And what we provided was, while immersed, a way to do so. And I'll show you a little more of that. Here's also 2 examples, these pictures below, on why you need to be creative and why innovation, you got to innovate or die. And that's the smart and creative blend together. The lower left picture is from Oracle, one of our strategic partners. We work with their ERP cloud system. It's one of the integrations in our VR shopping module. Well, this is at Oracle World, Open World, their largest conference, tens of thousands of people in San Francisco. And my phone was going off the hook saying, "You're here talking, what's going on?" We see this huge billboard in front of Open World, and it was right at the entrance, cost tens of thousands of dollars. We didn't even know. Oracle surprised us. They're so excited about this future of commerce that they've been a great partner and include us on TV commercials, etc. And here's another anecdote that they wrote about VR commerce becoming a big market. Their prediction is 75 billion in revenues expected by 2025. That type of money moves things. Let me try to show you. So show me a demo. VR is about showing, not telling. Crossing my fingers. I'm hoping the audio will work. So what you saw was the first application where somebody could view, shop, and pay using body language sportswear. It's an e-tailer and a customer of PayScout at the time, and we're bringing that to CyberDyme. That was in partnership with Visa, and I want to move towards why this storytelling element, this immersive storytelling element, is so important. So here's a great little quote from Forbes that I thought was forward thinking. And it talks about the brands having to engage more towards the heart in regards to storytelling than the mind. And it goes along the same philosophy that people make emotional decisions and then follow that up with their own logic. And I believe everybody has a story and everybody's a storyteller. And we believe that the connection of the retail brand story is sorely missing. And once you tell it and once you engage, and VR, virtual reality, is the best way to do so, the best platform in the world to do so, then you create empathy. And with that empathy and connection, I think you create better conversions, sales. Here is a look at Charity Water. Charity Water is a nonprofit. And here is a 2D picture. And you may have a 2D video. What Charity Water did differently was that they filmed the experience of them providing clean water to children in Africa. And this is a frame, but VR allowed you to break through that wall and experience the impact of Charity Water. And the connection that they made soon thereafter is with a black tie fundraiser in New York City. You can see here at every single desk, people got to experience the impact of Charity Water. Not view it, not look at it, but experience it. And this particular one VIP committed $60,000 to Charity Water. So they sits in a prominent seat. After viewing the Charity Water 360 video, he donated $400,000. And it was because of the impact of that VR experience, the empathy machine, the connection that was never brought to him before because he wasn't able to go to Africa. He felt compelled to donate to support the impact. So I love the quote. We aren't thinking machines that feel, we're feeling machines that think. Don't forget that. Here's our belief. We talked about it. Better connections equal better conversions. Fundamentally believe in the same way that e-commerce has disrupted retail, VR commerce is going to do the same. VR is the most immersive, emotionally connected way for humans and machines to interlock, and it's a new paradigm shift that is unfolding. So we're talking about the future of commerce, but I think you can't talk about the future if you can't talk about the past. And I want you, some of you probably weren't even born at this time. This is an image of Amazon in 1994. And it was the beginning of the internet explosion and the adoption of e-commerce. Who would have thunk in 1994 that image, that website, Amazon, would overtake the retailers on the right? It was a paradigm shift that some saw coming and others didn't. And the ones that did thrived. The ones that didn't, well, they failed. Here is a great example of stock ticker price that moves along the evolution of internet adoption and e-commerce. As you could see, Amazon took some time to gain some traction, but they're positioned well to be a $1 trillion company, not a $1 billion company, multi-billion dollar company, $1 trillion company. And Sears, through the lack of adoption of this new paradigm shift with this internet platform and e-commerce, took a different route and was overcome. A Fortune 500 company reduced to rumbles. Don't be that company. Don't develop towards that. Develop towards the future. And you look at the stats. In 1995, we had 60 million internet users. Foresaw the future. 2020, we're now at over 4 billion. So you'll say, well, VR hasn't been adopted yet. Good question. And it's not here until we get critical mass adoption. VR is here. VR is being adopted by the enterprise. That's a message I want to take with you that you should take home, because there's this thought process that we needed critical mass consumer adoption in order for VR to thrive. Not true. Even Accenture, the largest, which is one of our partners, the largest consulting firm in the world, developed an XR division to deal with augmented reality and virtual reality and mixed reality. They did this several years ago because they received word from their enterprise that we needed a strategy and we want to thrive during the paradigm shift. So I love this little quote from SuperData. In 2019, XR enterprises will save about $13.5 billion in training costs. Right now, before COVID, grant you, Walmart training over 1 million employees in over 4,000 stores using Oculus Go. And it was simply because the connection that VR enabled compared to traditional training methods was a better end result. So you see here training, if you're looking at designing and engineering, research analysis, showroom and sales, education as well. knowledge transfer in the hospitals, military, all these different verticals are being affected by VR and its impact to the enterprise industry. And I think the Apple moment is going to accelerate the adoption of VR. I know they've taken a look at numbers. Just to let you know, we're expected to increase revenue from 6.2 billion to about 16 billion in 2022. And Apple acquired NextVR in May of 2020. It shocked everyone. And I love this quote from TechCrunch because it does suggest that Apple has deeper plans for VR than they previously let on. It kind of overplayed AR, and in the behind the scenes, they're filing patents for VR, they're acquiring companies, and they're recruiting VR engineers, and then they acquired the first platform, NextVR, which deals with entertainment and sports. Something's cooking, and Apple is going to be in front of it. And when they do, watch out. Here's some other data. Over 11,000 people were surveyed through an outsourced firm by Facebook in 11 markets. And if you look here, the question was about their interest in using VR to test out a range of products. And travel, consistently #1, entertainment, retail, trying on clothes and makeup, auto and gaming being that character. If you look here, let's look at Brazil. Out of all the 11 different markets, Brazil was the highest in their interest to try out VR and blew away all the other countries. There is a demand of interest there. And the focus here was on trying on and testing products before purchase. I love what we're doing at CyberDyme is that we're making in VR purchase a reality. We think that friction needs to be corrected, and the interest here shows that in Brazil, it's going to be a hot market. VR headset adoption. Some of the barriers to VR headset adoption. 2017, there were about 3.7 million. 2018, about 4.8 million. And you can see 7 million and the acceleration of headset adoption. The reason being, I could see even greater acceleration. We talked about it before. Apple, 5G, the bandwidth capability, price is coming down. If I had this talk 2 years ago, to have an immersive VR experience, which means I can move back and forth, I could turn my head, I have agency, which means I could control my environment. That type of experience would cost well over $1,000. And now there's a standalone headset with the Oculus Quest introduced, its mass market appeal. It's under $400. So we're seeing the price come down, we're seeing form factor get better, 5G, Apple moment, it all adds up to a paradigm shift. Then COVID, we've all been affected by it. It's been tragic, and people are rethinking how we connect. And there is a virtual demand. I took a screenshot anecdotally, I invite you to do as well. If you go to Walmart or to Best Buy and try to buy an Oculus headset, good luck. They're reselling them for more on eBay. That's signal. That's signal that the adoption is happening. That's signal that that critical mass adoption will accelerate, is accelerating with COVID, and we'll see the stickiness. So how can I help you? Let me end this way. Sign up for notifications at CyberDyme.io. You could connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Follow us on CyberDyme, at CyberDyme VR on Instagram. You can also email careers@cyberdyme.io. Simply put in a hashtag in the subject line, #campus party, to receive a candidate's playbook. This is something that I think would be very useful for you. It kind of sums up what I've talked about, but also some best practices on how to find a job, how to differentiate yourself, incorporating being smart, being good, being creative, and how to do that. So I'll leave you with that and stop sharing and get to some Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Juan, for such an inspiring speech. Definitely, I do agree with you. Before being a great, let's say, executive or professional, you have to be a great person, right? Only a great person can be a great professional. And so we do share the same belief. I was wondering here, Juan, this world that you presented us is so fantastic, so many possibilities and opportunities. How can we, let's say, instruct the guys who are attending this lecture here, how to find knowledge? What do they have to study or know in order to work with XR reality once you show that Brazil is one of the top ones who want to, let's say, to try this kind of technology? How to find knowledge? Where do I begin?
Yeah, where do you begin? What's the
begin?
first step? First step's always the hardest step. Formal training, and I'm always thinking of cost. I remember being a student or a young professional, you have to stretch every real that you have. So Udemy, UDEMY, I think is a great platform where you can simply search on learning about the fundamentals of VR. If I'm a developer and I want to gain more of that interest lane, it's Unity or Unreal are the top software engines. I really like Unity. I think that I've seen that the enterprise is adopting that platform more and more. It's the #1 platform for gaming because that's where they really got their feet wet. They were the first to adopt VR and really take hold of that opportunity to differentiate themselves. So I visit the Unity site, I go to Udemy and to register, to search for Unity training, and you could do the same thing on YouTube. Back in my day, when I was at college or a young professional, didn't have the internet at the time, if you could believe that, or a cell phone.
Tough time.
Yes, yes. So now, if you're a learner, there's no better opportunity to differentiate yourself, to be creative, and always learn. Unity would be the first platform that I would learn. In addition, at Udemy, you can learn about 3D assets and all the various 3D modeling and how that integrates into VR commerce. But the first step is really understand Unity as a platform.
I see. I believe that we have some questions from the audience. Patricia, would you please show us the first? Yeah. Marcela Lacerda is asking you, how can VR commerce be scalable? Is there an expected time frame for that?
Yeah, great question. So I think you start, what we are doing, right, is we're starting through niche projects. So when we're talking to enterprises and they say, well, we got to have critical mass adoption, which I think is going to be about 500 million headsets, in order for us to move forward. We say no, that really isn't the case. As you can see with the different avenues that we're moving in terms of training and education. What we're doing is taking problems that the enterprise has and solving those problems, right, as a first step. And what we're learning is that people are gaining awareness about VR through work. Yeah. And it's just an evolutionary step. So they're first learning about VR. You saw at Walmart training over 1 million employees. They're going to come back and say, I saw something really cool and I want to share that. So I think you're going to have to get about probably 100 million users in a particular niche. And then that time frame, around 3 to 5 years, the acceleration point being Apple moment in 5G, I think is enabling the streaming service to be optimal and less nausea caused within the experience.
I believe we have some more questions. Great, because it was one of my doubts. Because when let's say the mobile commerce started, it lasts a little while till it really gets into, let's say, real great volumes, and it was based about technology or devices distribution, right? And one of the questions, how long it would take to reach the same thing for VR. But great. We have another one here. The immersive experience of VR commerce shall increase the impulsive buying. What are your projections on this tech performance related to billing volumes impact? Yeah, once we are so deep into the product, into the experience, probably I believe I would buy more for sure. What do you think, Juan?
Yeah, so anecdotally, we went on the road with Accenture and the XR team at South by Southwest last year. And we tested our VR commerce platform and are working in developing more of a white paper formalized around that. So it admittedly anecdotal at this point, but from our Visa experience and from our South by Southwest experience, what will increase, I believe, the impulse buying. We got fear from certain people that, oh my gosh, it's too easy to buy. And I'm so connected that I'm going to buy. And that could happen. For retailers, they enjoy that. For consumers, they have to control some of those impulses. At the same time, though, having that frictionless experience and seamless from where I understand, I think it's really about understanding and being more informed about the product. So that we should be looking at. Because that impulse buying could be from less informed product knowledge. So if I go to Amazon and I see a dress and it's a 2D dress and I don't know anything about the story of that dress. In fact, there's other widgets and nuts and bolts that are suggested that I buy, or cheaper dresses. There's a distraction from down the hall from my kid. Well, in VR, it's an immersive experience. And if that brand could tell the story and to showcase through 3D modeling that is solely optimal in VR, where I can grab it, I can twist it, I can look at it, I can see it on a model, I can see clothes on a body type that is mine, I can see it in different light and different skin tones. I think you have a more informed shopper. So I think this is a benefit to the shopper. Mm-hmm. And more informed shoppers are going to make more informed decisions through that connection. And when they make a decision, I think it's going to be a better decision than I see something. And what we're seeing at Amazon is I'm going to order 20 different versions of this product. I'm going to try on 3 and return 17. That's not good for the merchant. So there's upsell opportunity. I think there's less returns that will take place within that VR market.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know sometimes we love buying, and when you can just switch inside out the product, you just get astonished. Yeah, that's incredible. One thing that I would like to ask you to let's say to explain a little bit about it. I believe that you had the opportunity to, let's say, to present the VR solution, the VR commerce opportunity to the NRF merchants, mm-hmm. right?
Yep.
And I wonder what was the reaction, what was, let's say, what they think about it. Some retailers are more innovative, the other ones not that much. How did they react to this presentation, to the opportunity?
It's very binary. That's what I've learned. I probably have given 2,000 presentations. And at NRF, we were there for 3 days, and we had a huge volume, probably over 500 at NRF. And one of two avenues. I get it. This is the future. Their wheels are spinning. Can you do this? Can you do that? And they're starting to realize the opportunity to tell these brand stories that are in a more informed and immersive way. And they're thinking about how that relates to their product. So you're in that bucket of saying, I just saw the future and we should have a strategy around this, right? So a lot of education that is taking place, from early, especially early adopters. Then the second bucket is, I don't get it. I don't see this. It's not going to be the future. And so kind of the same thing you saw on Amazon when I showed you in the history, like they looked at that webpage and said, there's no way that the internet isn't going to do anything. Nobody's going to buy food online. Nobody's going to shop online for clothes, for shoes. Nobody's going to buy groceries online. You got to be kidding me. Not going to happen, especially books. We saw that change. And so what I have seen, though, in the last I would say 6 months, and especially accelerated through because of COVID, a fear of missing out. They now are seeing those same NRF participants, a realization that the virtual world is happening faster than they expected, and they better get on board. So those that get it are the more of the innovative companies. They tend to have innovative departments. They tend to have CEOs that really formalize an innovative approach and demand it from their employees. And there's the others that maybe don't have that formalized structure. So you have lone wolves within those organizations that are really trying to be a champion of VR and innovation. And so there's the two camps that we've seen and experienced talking to.
Yeah, definitely. We learned that we cannot miss the bus, like we say in Portuguese, right? The bus goes and you stay, and the history goes. The same thing. Another thing, how complex would it be for a retailer to create a VR experience? Do you believe that everything will be platform based, or what kind of model will be in place?
Yeah, I think there are going to be certain platform players, like there, marketplace players, like there were in e-commerce, and that you're seeing come out now, and I think with that, how do we cost effectively scale? Right, going back to that scale question, one of the things we've done really proud of at CyberDyme is we created a modular approach compared to the concepts and ideas of VR shopping prior. Macy's had come out with a demo, and it just mirrored a mall. It mirrored inside their storefront. You got to think more creatively with VR. The sky's the limit, right? But what happened through this digital integration of products that they produced, very expensive, and it was hard to manage inventory control. Right? So that was kind of an afterthought that, oh, if I want to purchase those shoes, and when they run out, how do I make that image disappear? How do I update it with new colors? What they had to do is redo the entire environment. And so what we've done is create a VR shopping module that any environment that people produce, we just slap on a VR shopping cart at the end. We skin it. We provide frictionless, secure payment integrations along with their inventory management system with 3D modeling. And so we think that's at a much lower cost and at scale.
Yeah, I believe that Lincoln is back with us. He has also a question for you. Lincoln, your mic is out, right?
Okay, thank you. I want to question to you both. Okay, Valeria, I think you could answer for Brazilian guys, in our scenario. And Juan, please tell me about the USA scenario. Which challenges need to be solved to become this experience popular? I think this is a great idea, a great technology, but we have gaps to maybe link and connect 4G. I don't know what, or the hardwares. I don't know with the main gaps that we have to solve the first for this exploding in the world. Valeria, do you know the Brazilian situation? Please explore this.
Yeah, good question, Lincoln. I believe that, first of all, 5G in Brazil has been delayed, right? It was planning to start by the end of this year, and it was delayed due to COVID and other impacts. So that's something that will surely impact lots of technologies, implementation, not only IoT will be much impacted by the non-implementation of the 5G and other things. We have, second, the local costs for production, right? Importation in Brazil are very, very high taxes. And also to produce here is not something that's quite, let's say, cheap. So the problem of a wide, let's say, adoption is also based on the equipment price, right? Second, yeah, that's it. And also third is content. We have to have content in order to enjoy the VR experience. So I have to have experiences, traveling experiences, movie experiences, retailing experiences, culinary experiences, whatever experiences, in order to be worthwhile to buy a goggle, right? To use. So I believe let's say the 3 or 4 main problems that will, let's say, make the VR adoption here, let's say in terms of a huge number of adopters, be a little more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so price, I touched upon a bit earlier. You know, in the last 2 years, we've seen a 80% reduction in price, a better experience with that reduction in price. You could get a Go standalone headset for under $200. And before, that'd be well over $1,000. So I think with technology, you will see just through the normal adoption that we've seen of technology advancement, that the price will go down. And the good thing is the industry recognizes that. They recognize the bullseye that price needs to come down in order to have critical mass adoption. The form factor too, I think, is going to improve. So you get a bulky, headset on. It's not the best experience. I think there's room for improvement, and that's why I'm very glad that Apple is jumping into the race, and it is a race. I could tell you, I'm born and raised in Silicon Valley. In fact, my family lived 4 miles from Apple's headquarters, and we were introduced to the Apple PCs as kids in elementary school when they were first showing children before they showed adults in the workplace about what they can do. And with the design element becoming lighter, and as we're all competing against the mobile phone, right? Mobile phone, I pick it up, I look at it, boom, I'm on, right? That instant, we're spoiled by that. With the standalone headset, I don't have to wire myself up anymore, so that's good. But I think we need to put it on and we go, and in a lightweight format. So you do a combination of that, and then with the content creators. So the good thing is data had come out from Facebook, but there are several companies that made over 10 million in revenue off the content that they created on their platform. And with that, you're going to start to drive through revenue more interest from a design perspective and developers and companies to produce more content. That was something 6 years ago. People were screaming and yelling, you need more content, you need more content, you need more content. Chicken and egg scenario. And so now with more content being widely adopted, 4-figure increase year over year for the last 2 years, and driven by the revenue that could be made from that content, I think it's just going to start to continue to snowball ahead.
Yeah, great. Well, unfortunately, we are running out of time. We are close to our limit, right? So I invite you to, let's say, to make your final remarks.
Yes. First of all, just really cool stuff. You see that picture? I just noted this behind me. That's from Rio de Janeiro on a business trip, and that's an original picture. That's an original picture.
You are almost here with us.
I am almost there with you. I have 4 original pictures from Brazil. Great artists throughout the country. Very excited. It's an honor to be here and talking to everyone. Please connect with me from careers at cyberdyme.io or on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'll deliver a playbook for you to assist. I want you also to think about, being smart, always learn, always challenge yourself. And it's the best opportunity to do so with the access that we have now. Be good, just be a good person. You know, I think it goes a long way, and in the end, you're going to live a more fruitful life. So give. And just a little small thing can affect the world. And then be creative. Stick to those odd things that people said you should do away with. As Steve Jobs introduced different fonts because he studied that while in college and calligraphy. And people were thinking, how are you going to connect the dots? And he integrated that into computers, and he thought he was mad. And it was just these creative juices and elements that create the best and brightest minds. So challenge you. The baton is passed to you. I'm getting older, and I know we're in good hands with this audience in reshaping the world, and especially with VR commerce and VR shopping. It's the next computing platform. Thank you.
Great. Again, Juan, I'm deeply thank you for your kindness. You're so kind, so friendly always. Thanks for being here. Thanks for accepting our invitation. And I believe that we have to promote this more and more, right? To share knowledge, share the future. Thank you a lot, my friend. And then I invite Lincoln to close our panel here. Lincoln, por favor, é com você.
Muito obrigado, Val. Thanks a lot, Juan. Pessoal, agora a gente tem que terminar esse painel. Eu aprendi muito. Quando eu conheci esse cara aqui, o Juan, ele falou uma frase para mim: The innovation open doors. Do you remember, Juan? E vocês acabaram de entender que eles estão investindo em inovação pura. Quem quiser saber mais, procura o site da CyberDyme. Quem quiser saber mais, procura a Célia, a Rede Célia. Está aí o e-mail. Aqui, ó, inovação@redeseller.com.br. Me procura no LinkedIn, procura o LinkedIn da Rede Seller, vocês vão ter respostas, tá bom? Agradeço demais aí a participação, a audiência, e Juan, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot and congratulations for your business, for your idea. Um abraço, gente. Tchau, tchau.
Thank you. Tchau. Tchau. Obrigado.